This is Marketing Uncomplicated. So welcome back. I have Jake. Jake is the co-founder of VideoScale, a video editing agency that offers unlimited editing to content creators for a flat monthly fee. Why was this exciting to me? Because video, as everybody knows, or maybe you don't know, is expensive. And I think Jake is really kind of flipping the script in terms of helping and supporting folks to get video done, whether you're a solo entrepreneur, whether you have a business, whether you have an ad agency. I think that this could be super helpful. So welcome to the show, Jake. We're really excited to dig in.
Thanks, Sasha. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So I like to just take a step back with all of my guests to talk about, really where the idea came from. Like, how did it spark? Where were you? What were you doing in life? And then you're like, this is a gap that's like completely missing. We've got to fill it. This is how we're gonna fill it. And so how did that all begin and how did that all start?
Yeah, no, great question. VideoScale, the idea for it came when I had previously owned or co-owned a couple other agencies. So we had a video production agency and we had a content marketing agency. And so we were always working with customers and doing their videos. And we always had struggles either finding good and talented editors to bring in house, or we were finding it difficult to find freelancers that we were either highly skilled or ones that we could depend on from like a turnaround time perspective. And so VideoScale really started with, we had our own internal problem that we needed to solve. And so not only from just negotiating prices, but also finding quality editors, but also we needed like an overflow. So when we had too much work and our team couldn't handle it, we needed an option like VideoScale to help us in times of we were in a pinch, and we just could not find anything. The model existed; it was sort of new, but we tried a couple of them and they weren't great. Either the pricing was exorbitant, or the quality was bad, or the communication. There was just a huge need for something like this. And so it really just spawned from trying to fix our own problems. And as we started to fix it, we started to realize there is something here that could benefit other agencies, could benefit other content creators. And so we launched into it, and it's been smooth sailing since then.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think, some of the greatest stories comes out of like the need, right? For something that you don't even have, or you have a demand for. So that's great. I mean, a lot of small business owners, entrepreneurs, creators, and that kind of thing, a lot of them have a tendency to go through Upwork, right? And like the problems with Upwork is, you end up having to interview a multitude of people. You go through maybe a process of onboarding, then it doesn't work out. So then you're going to have to go back in and you're going to have to look for more people. Or to your point, the price point's not there, the quality is not there. So an idea to be able to have the opportunity to come to a one-stop shop, to really get everything done, to have the trust that the quality is going to be good, the price is going to be within reason, and really, it's an unlimited, offering that you guys are doing.
Yeah. I'll never knock Upwork because I still use them to this day.
Same.
To your point, though.
Yes. You have to know how to use it, and you have to know to snuff it out.
It's an exhausting process.
Yes.
I mean, even if you're not using Upwork, just finding creative talent, going through the process of recruiting them, of interviewing them, of hiring them, of training them, and then retaining them is just a tedious process. And the problem is you always have to do the same process no matter what. So on the negative side, if let's say you lose that editor or you lose that creative talent, well, you got to repeat the process to find the replacement. Or on the positive side, if your agency or your business is growing and you need to add another one, well, shoot, you got to go through the whole process again. And one of the benefits of VideoScale is that all of our editors work for VideoScale full time. So we take that responsibility on ourselves to recruit and hire and train and retain the editors, so that when you need them as a customer of VideoScale, you can ask for them whenever you want. And so you never have to go through that experience of trying to scale quickly or trying to find editors quickly as you onboard these new customers. So as soon as you realize, oh, we just added new customers, all you need to do is reach out to our team, and then we will assign another editor to your account, and you hit the ground running with ease and flexibility. And then if you ever lose customers, all you have to do is pause or cancel the subscription, we will reassign the editor to a different account, and you don't have to worry about laying people off or anything like that. So there's a lot of opportunity there for small businesses to be flexible and nimble without the stress of overhead or recruiting or hiring or even firing.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, because it is, I mean, in the onset of starting your business, navigating the landscape, figuring out, what you need to do, who you need to hire, is it third party? Do I bring them in full time? So on
Yeah.
and so forth. It's a landscape that business owners don't necessarily know how to juggle, or even if they're a creator, it's just like, oh, I just want to get the job done, but I want to make sure that I can trust somebody to get it done.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead. What were you going to say?
that's tough because as you start, especially when you're considering video to your point is it's the future of marketing. I mean, everybody knows that you have to have video as part of your marketing plan if you're going to thrive in this day and age. But as you scale your video output, the costs tend to scale pretty, in lockstep with it.
Yeah.
And when you're a small business, your only option is to go the freelancer route, at least previously to like something like VideoScale, because you're not going to be able to afford an in-house editor. I mean, that's just not a great way to leverage your whatever cash you have to an in-house team. And so you have to go with freelancers. And then you run into the problem of, well, how do I find the right people? How do I vet them? How do I train them? How do I, go about doing these things? And for most business owners, they're not trained in what to look for to find a good video editor. And they run into the problem of, besides the ones we talked about, they run into the problem of, there's something wrong with my edit. I don't quite know what it is, but I can't really express what it is. And so now you've got this gap between what the editor is trying to do for you, the freelancer, and what you want, but you guys can't communicate because you're not on the same wavelength. And we kind of bridge that gap where, I've been in editing for quite a long time, and our team has been too. So we know what to look for in an editor. We bring them on full time, and they're with us as opposed to having to be an in-house resource for a small business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because maybe some of the clients that have come to you have either built out their brand or about to build out their brand. So then it's the concept of, we want to make sure that all the creative is in sync and is in line with each other, because that has a tendency to happen where, businesses start to dilute because they'll hire this contractor, that contractor, and everybody's doing their own kind of designs. So nothing is kind of in cohesiveness or like, looking like it should across the board. So there's that in that instance where, to your point, like they don't know what to look for. It's like, it doesn't feel right, but they can't put their finger on it. And at the same time, it's like, what's a good video versus a bad video? I mean, these days, right? Yeah. Because I mean, there's a lot out there, and I want to dig into like, the good versus the bad, and like really how we talked on the side, earlier prior to us going live was, video is king, and it's not going to go away. It's never going to stop. Even with the onset of the growth and the push of AI, there is a nice sort of, marriage that can happen between the two, but, how are people utilizing it, So from that standpoint, let's dive in a little bit as it relates to, video and usage within what clients and, creators can be using these type of things for.
Yeah. I think we've been here for a while, but I think businesses are coming around to the idea that video has to be a central focal point of your marketing plan. If you want to grow, if you want to scale, and you want to do it, you want to scale quickly. Nowadays, buyers need to like you, they need to trust you, and they need to want to do business with you. And so a lot of times it comes down to the face of the organization being in front of their potential customers. Obviously, that requires video. And so a lot of the times we encourage our customers to get in front of the camera, even if you don't feel comfortable with it, like being on a podcast or being in front of a camera, just get used to it. Get in front of it. We can make you look better than you feel that you're coming off.
Yeah.
But the effect that it's having.
And I want to interrupt your point there, because even when you say we can make you look better, even if you film a video off of your iPhone camera, it is the way you edit it is in what you're saying that makes it just hit the nail on the head, right?
You do not need to be buying like expensive cameras. You do not need to be investing a lot. If you just have a fairly up-to-date iPhone, it'll do just fine.
Yep.
But people want to see who they're buying from. They want to know they can trust them. They want to know that that they have a good reputation, that they like them, and they're more likely to make a purchase decision when they can see who they're buying from. And so utilizing video to get your face out there, to get your team out there, to share content that's educating, that's encouraging, that's entertaining, is going to be a quick way and a cost-effective way to increase your sales for your business.
Yeah, no, I mean, so tell us a little bit about the, not necessarily like case studies, but some of the industries that come your way,
Yeah.
and some of the editing asks, because
Yeah.
I'm assuming that a majority of them come and they're like, this is our brand, this is our look and feel. Do they on the onset have an idea of what they're looking for, and then you kind of deliver on that kind of creative concept, or do you help them build that creative concept?
Great question. Most people come with their brand assets. They already have an idea of what it should look like, or they are already executing on that. And so a lot of times, our team comes in and picks up right where the customer is. And one of the things that we do when you onboard is we ask, would you like us to edit exactly to how you have it? Because a lot of our customers do. Like, we have some agencies that are customers, and so they've already built a brand for their customers. And so we just need to execute to that level that they've already built. But there are some that say, here's what we've done. I kind of like it, but I'm open to pushing the envelope and trying new trends, trying new things, testing things out. And I'd love for your team to step in and help us develop, like, what could this look like? And how can we make it perform better, whether it's an ad or a podcast or a promo video. And so our team will step in and leverage their experience to help our customers out. Because one of the beautiful things about this model too is our editing team has a number of customers that they can reference and they've done videos for. And so we can leverage that experience and that knowledge from all of our other customers and leverage it to one specific customer, right? As opposed to, an in-house team only knows what they work on. Like, they only work on their brand.
Yeah.
Our editors work on dozens of brands.
Multitude,
so they can leverage those learnings to the benefit of our customers, which is really helpful.
Yeah, I like that because, there's this whole, thing that I've just been discussing with a variety of people where it's, borrow from other industries, right? So it's not borrow from within your industry, but borrow from outside of your industry that can make you unique and stand out. So they could be doing something cool for an automotive like industry that could be translated into a medical industry. And I'm creating that far like gap because it can be utilized, right? I mean, it's not just, okay, this is what is built for automotive and it can't ever be used for like the medical industry and so on. So it's just it's stretching the creative concept, I think.
Yeah. I mean, a perfect example is we've got a customer who they're like a supplements, like, workout supplements, vitamins company. And we do some ads for them. And so like the social media ads are typically going to be very edgy and engaging in the first couple seconds because you just want to capture someone's attention immediately. Well, we can leverage those same editing styles and techniques and trends that we know from all of our other edits and customers to, let's say you just built a course and you want to market it on YouTube or you want to market it on Instagram. It's like we can use the same style of edits because we know they work to capture attention on just your course. Like, even if it's a simple course about, how to do SEO marketing, we can leverage those experiences and techniques across industries. Now, there's some that probably won't like translate well, but there's a lot that actually do translate across a multitude of industries.
So I want to dig in a little further from the back end of like the development of the videos, because I think a lot of folks just think, okay, I'm going to film a video, I'm going to send it to them, they're going to edit it and done, right? But what they don't realize is that every platform, YouTube has their own size, Instagram has their own size, Facebook has their own size, and all of that. So it's just what goes into the back end. Let's talk a little bit about like all of the details. And then secondarily to that, once we dive into that, I do want to talk about the variety that can be used coming out of one video and how we can kind of slice and dice content, because that's important for business owners to know that if you film maybe one large thing, or even if it's like a minute and a half, like you can take snippets from that and spread it everywhere, right? So we kind of want to show that, even though video, you don't want to just think video is for social channels, it can be used for websites and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
let's,
Yeah, that's something that we do for most of our, or quite a few of our customers is utilizing one, let's say like even a
yeah.
long form podcast is you could chop that up into 20 or 30 different pieces of content, not only video, but even blogs, even, a multitude of different, multimedia. So, with most of our customers, they'll usually have an idea of like, okay, I'm going to be posting these to Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube. And so they'll come with a plan in mind. But that's part of the onboarding with us is we ask you like, what's the intent here? What's the goal? Where are you going to be marketing these things? And then that informs how we need to be editing in order to supply the customer with everything they need for their marketing campaign. And so it's a pretty straightforward process with us, at least, of letting us know what you need and why you need it and what's the goal. Because then our team is experienced enough to know, okay, well, if they're going to be running ads on Facebook or on LinkedIn, I know exactly how to edit this ratio, aspect ratio wise, as well as how we're going to edit it stylistically so that it's engaging. And so the customer needs to have a very, broad idea of what they want to do, but then we can help them fine tune that as we go through the editing process.
Yeah. I mean, have you really had anybody that was just like, I know I need to do a video and I don't know where to start? Have they come to you as early as that before building videos?
They have, but what I've personally found is that most people who are at that stage. Well, I'll take it two ways. I would say most people who are at that stage haven't quite got to the point where they're willing to invest in video. And so they usually backtrack and say, well, let me get at least my plans in order. But I know I need to do video. I know I want to do video, but in order to make this thing worth the time, the investment of time and money, I need to get some things in order. So I'd say if they're only at the stage of, I know I should do this, that's probably, at least we don't see them because they haven't quite got to the point of like wanting to pay for it.
Yeah.
Where we see a lot of content creators or small businesses are at is that they say, I know I want to do this. I am committed to doing this. And in moving forward and paying for this, I am putting sort of a check in place that like if I'm parting with money, I'm guaranteed to create content. This is not going to be a waste for me.
Yeah.
And then from there, we can help them build like, what does this need to look like? Like, what is your goal? What is your objective as a business? And then how can video really fit into this marketing plan to get you there?
Yeah. Now, when you guys, obviously there are some videos that you guys have gotten in the past and you're like, oh, I wish that, or we wish we had an opportunity to kind of work with this person prior to them filming it, to at least have, categories or break things out. I mean, there's always like I wish when sometimes you get a project that needs to be like edited a little more than a video that comes in that doesn't have to have all that editing. So maybe let's talk about best practices as it comes to video and like what people need to be thinking about when they're creating content around video.
Yeah, no, that's a great question and topic. It's actually fairly straightforward and fairly simple. There's a couple of things you can do that would help in the quality of the content before it even gets to an editor. So for one, we already talked about is at the very minimum have something like an iPhone or a smartphone. As long as you're not using a flip phone, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But recording on something like that, making sure you have pretty good lighting, decent lighting, and typically lighting that's in front of you and not behind you. If you're sitting in front of a window, for instance, it'll flood you out and we won't be able to see you.
Yeah.
So have some good lighting in front of you. From a sound perspective, I've got a pod mic here. You don't need this. This is not something that's a must-have. This is I like to have. I'm using this. I use this often for podcasts.
Earphones.
So even a corded, old iPhone microphone will work. You can use if you have an iPhone, you can use your Bluetooth ones.
Yeah.
But just make sure you're in a quiet place where you're not having a lot of background sound. You got good lighting and you got a good source for recording it. And for the most part, you're gonna be pretty good. You're not gonna have to worry about bad quality content.
Yeah. But when you're outside, like some of these influencers, I mean, making sure you have like the right type of mic and like all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. So if you're gonna be out, that's a great point. If you're gonna be outside, having a lav mic is really important. So you can go to Amazon and get it's like a lavalier mic. It like attaches to your lapel.
Mm-hmm.
You can find some really good deals. I think I've got a pair that's $99, and it syncs with my phone, and I attach it, I turn it on, and I can get to recording. I can go off for a walk and start recording something. And there's a couple little attachments that come with it that will help. If it's a windy day, it'll help, suppress any wind. But if you're outside, always try to be in a place where there's not like street traffic, because we will
Yeah.
pick up on that, and we can help kind of
But
soften
there's
the
only so
background.
much.
But there is only so much. I mean, if the lighting is terrible and we can't even see you, or if the sound is drowning you out, like you're walking down the streets of New York, there's only so much you can do with that. But
Yeah.
if you're outside, I'd say get a lav mic, and you should be sufficient there.
Yeah. That's great. And then from a strategy standpoint, like when they're building their sort of library of like the different types of like videos that they want to build, or let's say like a shot list as it relates to videos, they always need to be thinking about how can I slice and dice and where can I be utilizing this as they're filming it, right?
Yeah.
So from a strategic standpoint.
Yeah. I take kind of a counterintuitive approach to this, especially for people who are just getting into video.
Yeah.
I think it's ideal if you have the ability to create shot lists and say, okay, well, how do I want to use this? Who am I speaking to? And okay, based on that, here's what I want to accomplish. I think that's great. If you can do that, that's so helpful. But don't let that be a barrier to you starting your video. A lot of people that come to us and say, I've never done video, but I'm committed to doing it. I just say, hey, turn on your camera and start talking.
Yeah.
Because something of value will come out. And the great thing about editing is we can cut away all the stuff that isn't great, or all the bad takes, or all the stutters you do, until we find that little nugget of gold that then we can push out via social. So don't let that be a barrier to creating video. Just turn on your camera and just start talking, and something good will come out of it that we can use in the post-production process.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's true. Just start with everything, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of jump in and roll with it. And you'll get comfortable.
Yeah, 100%. I think the problem that people have is they get self-conscious about, am I going to sound like an idiot? I have imposter syndrome? Do people going to see that I really don't know what I'm talking about? And so because of those things, we always find reasons why we should not do this, or why we should delay doing this.
Yeah.
And especially if you run a business, if you're delaying this, then your competitors are getting in front of you with it.
Yeah.
And so do whatever you can to remove all the reasons why you shouldn't, and just set up your iPhone, sit at a park bench if you want, and just turn it on and start recording.
Yeah.
And if that's hard, just even start with audio. Like just hit your voice note on your phone and just start talking. Something good will come out of it that you can even use that. And it's a good way of kind of stair-stepping and kind of getting a running start into recording video.
Yeah. Do you recommend, other than the lighting and different types of things, are there certain types of props, that it can append to your phone, if you're at home, like if it, just a suction. I know a lot of influencers are using these like back of the suction things, like just stick it up anywhere for tutorials, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff you can use. So the suction cups are great. I've got this
stand,
like a stick, it can turn into a stand.
Yeah.
Or it can be like a pole that I kind of hold out away from my body.
Yeah.
But it has a little remote too that I can like hit play. Like if I set it like 20 feet away from me, I can hit play or record, and it'll start recording me. So those are always helpful. The lav mic is exceptionally helpful as well, especially if you're going to be walking around, or if someone else has your phone is recording you from 10 feet away. You're going to want to have a lav mic.
Yeah, yeah.
Beyond that, I wouldn't say anything is absolutely necessary, but it is helpful when you start getting into recording more and more content.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a little funny story. I was at a farm over this weekend, and for everybody listening, I live in South Florida, and I went to a farm down south, and about an hour outside of Miami. And I wanted to get a picture of me walking through the starfruit like groves. I mean, they just had all these like beautiful trees that were packed with like starfruit, and I had gone on my own, and it was kind of like a walking tour where you could just explore the farm and that kind of stuff. So I propped my phone up on a tree turned it around, gave
Yeah.
myself like 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I took like a couple of shots and then I was done. I was good,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, get creative and
Yeah.
find ways, you know? I mean, you don't necessarily always need to have props, right?
Yeah. Don't need to have props. You don't need to
Yeah.
be. You don't need to worry about. Am I in frame? We can. Well, we'll make it work
Yeah.
either way. But and I think nowadays a lot of people are doing that. Like we're just in a culture of social media now where people are always recording something, so you don't have to worry about like the social effect or like
Yeah.
do I look weird holding my phone in front of me taking a video of me talking to it? No, not at all. That's such a normal thing in society today that
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about do I look like the weirdo recording something or talking to myself in my phone.
Yeah, no, I love that. So just to change lanes a little bit and
Yeah.
and walk down the path of AI, tell us a little bit about how you guys are incorporating that into the editing that you do, or whether it's like the B-roll that you mix into some of the videos that you produce. But I think that at least as it relates to the expertise of an editor, for me, what I don't think AI, maybe not even in the next year or two, or maybe even down the road, won't be able to capture that essence
Yeah.
of that emotions that, we can see to really, get that feeling from somebody as
Yeah.
they're watching,
Yeah.
content. So
No, that's a great question. So at VideoScale, we utilize AI just to help us do our jobs better. VideoScale will never be, and for a lot of reasons, one of the main reasons is what you just talked about. VideoScale will never use AI to replace any of our editors because, in large part, you lose that touch, that emotion that comes with it. Like AI is actually really helpful. It's a really good tool for editing videos. And so if you're just getting started, there's a lot of good AI editors out there that are affordable and that can get you started right away. And you don't need to know how to edit to utilize them. But the couple things that the AI doesn't do today and probably won't do very well, if not at all, in the future is they still struggle with contextualizing like a micro clip. Like if you take a Joe Rogan podcast and then you were to throw it into like an Opus clip, which is an AI, micro clip creator, it might capture really interesting, like a micro clip of 15 seconds, but it doesn't have a great ability to choose like contextually. Did this need to start 3 seconds earlier or 30 seconds earlier so that like it stays in context?
yeah.
The other thing too is that it doesn't do a great job of like catching your attention immediately. So like for instance, if you need to run like Facebook ads, it won't create great ad footage for you because it doesn't know how to make it super engaging and edgy in the first second or the first quarter of a second. And so there's a lot of stuff that it won't do. And so at VideoScale, what we use it for just a few things. Like for instance, we'll use it for captions. So we'll upload a video just to transcribe the audio, and then we can get in there and fix any any spelling or grammar errors before we upload it to our video. So we'll use it for that because it makes our job easier.
Faster.
It makes us more efficient, and it allows our editors to really focus on the important thing, which is capturing the essence of the video and capturing the heart of what the content creator had in mind with this piece of content, which I don't think you can replace that sort of person with AI. And a little side note, actually, we had I have another podcast that I used to run, and we've since sunsetted it, but we had a professor of AI from Harvard on the podcast to ask about AI and how it's going to affect these things. And one of the things he said to me, which was super helpful and it stuck with me, he said, AI will revolutionize just about everything that we do. He said, the one thing I can promise you though is it'll always require somebody's oversight.
Yeah.
Because it just can't run by itself and be perfect. It has to have someone overlooking it.
Yeah.
And so I get asked this question a lot: is will VideoScale be an AI only business? And my answer is always no. I mean, AI will help us, but it's not going to replace anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like when we think of that, having like an oversight, if you think about like the medical industry, they've had, AI I can't remember when they came up with the robotic, surgeries where it was
Yeah.
like, instead of actually, creating a larger incision, you could create a smaller incision to go in, and the robot was doing a majority of the stuff, but or the surgery, but there was always somebody that was in the room, and
Oversee it.
that's going to
Yep.
continue, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we're not robots operating on robots, at the end
Yeah.
of the day. So I
Yeah.
completely agree with that statement.
I would say anybody like, again, if business owners are looking to get into video and budget is a little tight, AI editing is a great place to start. Again, Opus Clip and a few others are a good option.
CapCut, what do you think of CapCut?
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go. But if you're wanting to, if you have the budget and you're committed to video and you want to take your video to the next level where it will stand apart from everybody else and everybody else is using AI, that's when you then consider the a professional video editor, whether it's through VideoScale or even a freelancer or somebody in your community.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to set yourself apart, because eventually everybody will be using AI, and so everybody will be creating about the same sort of content.
Yeah.
And so you'll stand out by creating things that isn't AI, so it'll naturally be set apart from everybody else.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think if some people might have seen the commercial with Coca-Cola, they've made a mix of like,
Yeah.
AI and like regular editing, like to combine their new
Yep.
commercial,
Yeah.
which is kind of like the then and now.
Uh-huh.
And it was a very nice play on, the then, and then I think I can't remember their tagline at the end, but it was like always or AI ways.
Yeah.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
like, how their finish
Yep.
line for Coca-Cola is like Coca-Cola always, and then
Yep.
they had AI for like the AL, but it was like always, but it could also be, AI ways.
Yeah. Very clever.
Very, very clever.
Yeah.
So it's finding ways to kind of incorporate that.
Yep.
My other question to you is, I mean, I remember I used to travel a lot to New York prior to like living there. And, all of a sudden you had the taxi cabs that had like TV screens in the taxis. What are new platforms that are coming out that are, maybe supporting more of a disruption to be able to produce more video at a lower scale? Because if we think about, outdoor marketing, or, so you have your subway screens, you have your bus stop screens, you have, commercials within like streaming videos and like so on and so forth. What other new places, are people kind of requesting, or there may not be really any new, but what are you seeing more and more people asking for?
Yeah, that's a great question. And honestly, we don't get a lot of
Commercial type stuff,
because we don't get a lot of people asking to create videos for newer platforms. Like it's really the tried and true ones that we see of socials. So it's going to be like your TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I would say one that, I mean, it's probably not revolutionary, but the one that we get a lot more now than we used to ever is LinkedIn. Because I think people are starting to realize, not starting to realize, they've realized this for a while, but they're starting to utilize LinkedIn to market their services, to share their expertise. It's no longer a place where you just connect with people and you have this community.
Yeah.
It's now a place to actually share your knowledge and to be branded as a subject matter expert, and to put out content that can actually reach those people and make an impression on them. So I would say, I don't know if the mediums has changed, at least from what people request from us, but how they interact on those mediums like LinkedIn or TikTok.
Yeah, I like that.
How they create content to fit it. Has changed and evolved over time.
Yeah, that's so true, because I think a lot of people look at LinkedIn, or they used to look at LinkedIn as a more conservative platform, when in actual fact that people are pushing the boundaries more with LinkedIn, which is great, because I think a lot of people want to see more of that versus just like your white papers or your articles, which is what it really was known for in the beginning. And it was very like, this is corporate, this is business, you need to have a photo that is more, corporate versus like your social photos. And now people are moving away from that. I mean, you have C-suite level folks that have, relaxed social photos, which I think is great at like big enterprise companies. So it's really showing behind the scenes of like, I can still be a C-suite person, but I can still be cool, and I can still talk about subject matters that I'm working in,
100%.
Yeah.
I I think there are going to be new areas. To answer your question, I think there will be new areas where video can be utilized that we haven't really thought of before. I think there are more out there, but I think what business owners should be focused on is not necessarily finding the new thing, but how do I better utilize what's already out there and we know actually works? Like, how can I set myself apart with the knowledge that I have that I can share, or the value proposition that our business has? Like, utilize what's there to really set yourself apart, and then venture out into and keep your eye out for what's coming down the pike. Because if you're a first mover into those new like taxi cabs, then you'll have an edge. So keep an eye out for it, but focus on the things that are already in front of you.
Yeah, push the boundaries, you know. So I do like that. So this has been great. We've dug into a lot of different subjects and covered a lot.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, this was amazing. Tell us where everybody can find you guys.
Yeah, so if you're interested in VideoScale, just go to videoscale.co. And you'll find everything there, from how the model works, what's included, pricing, and all of that. And then we're all in the normal socials like LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook. But if this sounds intriguing and you're interested in learning more, you can schedule a demo call. It's usually 15 minutes just to see if VideoScale is a good fit. And if not, we'll point you the right direction to a better fit, or we'd be happy to help you out.
Awesome. Well, Jake, this has been a pleasure. One last question before I send you off, as I like to ask this to everybody. What are 3 key pieces of advice that you would give to any entrepreneur, either starting or currently in their growth spurt and wanting to give up?
Yeah. I actually got asked this recently, and so I have an answer at hand. I'll actually narrow it down to 1 just to make it even simple. But I would say work your butt off. And I don't necessarily mean put in 120 hours. I don't mean, neglect family and friends and a personal life. What I do mean, though, is go the extra mile, do the thing that no one else is willing to do, put in the time, put in the effort, because the life of an entrepreneur, the life of a business owner, the life that is afforded to people who do those things and take those steps is second to none. I would not trade this life for any other life or anybody else's, because I absolutely love it. The freedom that comes from being a business owner, once you taste it, there's literally no going back. You can't do it. So just work your butt off, because it is worth it.
Oh, I love that. I completely agree. Once you taste, you can't go back for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Jake, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And guys, make sure to check it out. And there's some great things happening with video over at VideoScale.
Appreciate it, Sasha. Thanks.
Thank you.